Hey guys, tonight we're stepping back, way back, into a world where the concept of a workout as you know it simply didn't exist. Forget your spin classes, your protein shakes, your meticulously planned gym routines. Imagine a time when staying fit wasn't a choice, but a fundamental, non-negotiable part of daily survival. You're about to enter a landscape where every sunrise brought with it a full-body challenge, where your very existence depended on your physical prowess. And let me tell you, if you were transported back there right now, with your soft hands and your reliance on elevators, you probably wouldn't survive the first week without a serious case of muscle soreness. Or worse, a complete inability to find your next meal. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And as you settle in, maybe drop a comment with your current location and local time. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake up, not to the gentle hum of an alarm clock, but to the first faint chirps of birds and the cool, damp air of dawn. Your bed isn't a plush mattress, but a simple mat on the ground. Perhaps a pile of animal skins. As you stretch, every muscle in your body feels the lingering echo of yesterday's efforts. This isn't the satisfying ache of a good gym session. It's the baseline reality of constant physical exertion. You don't go to the gym. Your entire life is the gym. Think about your morning commute. You don't hop into a car or onto a bus or even a bicycle. Instead, you step out of your dwelling, and your feet become your primary mode of transport. Whether you're a hunter-gatherer, a farmer, or a city dweller, walking is fundamental. Imagine traversing miles each day, not on paved sidewalks, but over uneven terrain. Rocky paths, muddy fields, dense forests. Your calves burn, your lungs work steadily, and your core engages with every step to maintain balance. This isn't a leisurely stroll, it's purposeful movement, often carrying tools, water, or perhaps the day's meager findings. A common historical fact is that ancient people, across virtually all civilizations, engaged in far more consistent and varied physical activity as an inherent part of their daily lives than modern individuals. Their workouts were simply living. Consider the sheer effort involved in obtaining food. If you're a hunter, you're tracking prey for hours, sometimes days, through dense undergrowth, up steep inclines, and across rushing streams. You're not just walking, you're stalking, running, climbing, and eventually, if successful, dragging a heavy carcass back to your camp. If you're a gatherer, you're bending, squatting, reaching, and carrying heavy baskets of berries, roots, or nuts. Your glutes and hamstrings are constantly engaged, your back muscles strong from lifting. It's a full-body functional workout, every single day, with the highest stakes imaginable your next meal. You might even laugh to yourself, thinking, my personal trainer would kill for this kind of dedication. Or maybe just for the fresh air. Even if you're a farmer, your days are filled with relentless physical labor. You're tilling the soil with rudimentary tools, sowing seeds by hand, weeding rows under the scorching sun, and harvesting crops with sickles and scythes. Your arms ache from swinging, your back protests from bending, and your hands are calloused and strong. You're moving heavy sacks of grain, pushing primitive plows, and carrying water from the well. Each season brings new, demanding physical challenges. There's no off-season for ancient fitness. Then there's the construction. Whether it's building a simple hut, a sturdy fence, or contributing to a monumental temple. Ancient construction was a testament to raw human power. Imagine lifting heavy stones, hauling timber, digging trenches with simple shovels. Your shoulders burn, your biceps bulge, and your entire body strains with the effort. There are no cranes, no bulldozers, just human muscle and ingenuity. It's the ultimate CrossFit challenge. But without the fancy gym equipment or the motivational slogans, you might even think, forget barbells, just give me a few Roman bricks and I'll be shredded in a week. A truly unique detail about ancient fitness, often overlooked, is the sheer strength and endurance required for basic domestic tasks. Consider fetching water. In many ancient societies, this wasn't a matter of turning on a tap. You might walk for miles to a river or a well, carrying heavy ceramic jars or buckets, often uphill, back to your home. This daily chore alone would build incredible leg and core strength. Or grinding grain into flour, a painstaking process that involved hours of repetitive, strenuous work with a hand mill, building formidable arm and shoulder muscles. Imagine doing 1,000 reps of bicep curls just to make your morning porridge. It makes your modern food processor look like a miracle. The constant exposure to the elements also played a role. Working outdoors, under the sun, in various temperatures, built resilience. Your body adapted to the demands, becoming more efficient, more robust. You didn't just get fit, you became hardened, capable of enduring discomfort and prolonged physical stress. There was no comfort zone to escape to. The idea of rest days was a luxury, or perhaps a consequence of injury or illness. Your body recovered as best it could during periods of less intense activity, or during the brief hours of sleep. But the demands of survival meant that prolonged inactivity was rarely an option. If you didn't move, you didn't eat. If you didn't build, you didn't have shelter. Fitness wasn't a hobby, it was the very fabric of existence. This constant physical engagement also meant that many of the ailments common in modern sedentary societies, chronic back pain, obesity-related diseases, weak bones, were far less prevalent, or at least manifested differently. Their bodies were constantly being challenged, constantly adapting. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate the precise long-term effects of constant, low-intensity physical activity on ancient human physiology compared to the modern pattern of sedentary living, interspersed with intense, structured workouts. Was their natural fitness truly superior? Or did it come with its own set of unique wear and tear issues? You might even hear a joke about an ancient person complaining. My back hurts so much from carrying water. I wish I had a slave, or a hose. Or perhaps, I'm so tired from chasing that deer. I think I'll just forage for some berries. If I can still bend over. The humor, as always, helps to highlight the sheer physical demands of their lives. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the ancient world in warm, golden hues, you feel the profound weariness in your limbs. It's a weariness born not of a gym session, but of a day lived in constant motion. A day where every task, no matter how small, contributed to your physical conditioning. You realize that ancient people didn't need fancy equipment or motivational posters. Their motivation was survival, and their gym was the world around them. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom weight of a water jug, the gentle pull of a digging stick, and the steady rhythm of your own breath. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was simply life, lived fully and physically under the vast, silent sky. Imagine waking up in a temporary camp, the air crisp with the scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. You're part of a small band, your family and kin, and the first order of business is always the same: finding food. There's no grocery store, no delivery service. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner depend entirely on your ability to move, track, and procure. This isn't just a daily walk, it's a purposeful trek, often covering vast distances. A common historical fact is that hunter-gatherer societies typically covered many miles each day, often traversing varied and challenging terrain, making sustained walking and running a fundamental part of their physical existence. Your daily step count would put any modern fitness tracker to shame. You step out, perhaps with a spear in hand, or a digging stick, or a woven basket. Your senses are heightened, attuned to the rustle of leaves, the faint scent of animal tracks, the subtle changes in the landscape that might indicate a patch of edible berries or a water source. You're not just walking, you're actively scanning, bending, and stooping. Your eyes dart, your ears strain, and your body remains poised for action. This constant state of alert engagement builds incredible core strength and agility. It's like a perpetual, high-stakes scavenger hunt, where the prize is your next meal. You might even think, forget my gym's functional fitness class. This is the real deal. Consider the act of hunting. This isn't a passive activity. You might spend hours, even days, tracking a herd of deer or a solitary boar. This involves sustained running, often at varying speeds, through uneven terrain. You're ducking under branches, leaping over fallen logs, and scrambling up rocky outcrops. Your cardiovascular system is constantly challenged, your leg muscles burning with effort. Then, once you've cornered your prey, There's the intense, explosive burst of energy required for the kill, followed by the grueling task of butchering and carrying the heavy carcass back to camp. Your shoulders, back, and legs are all engaged in this primal strength training, as it's the ultimate deadlift, but with a lot more grunting and a lot less spandex. You might even crack a joke to yourself. This deer hunt is really cutting into my me time, which is also deer hunting. If you're primarily a gatherer, your workout is equally demanding, though perhaps less dramatic. You're constantly bending, squatting, and kneeling to collect roots, tubers, and wild grains. Your glutes and hamstrings are in perpetual motion, building incredible lower body strength and flexibility. You're reaching high into trees for fruit, climbing rocks for honeycombs, and digging deep into the earth for edible plants. Your arms and shoulders are strong from carrying heavy loads of collected food back to camp, often for miles. It's a continuous, low-impact, high-endurance workout, fueled by necessity. A truly unique detail about hunter-gatherer fitness is the incredible bone density observed in their skeletal remains. Archaeological studies often show that ancient hunter-gatherers had significantly denser bones than modern humans, even athletes. This isn't just from carrying heavy loads, it's from the constant, varied impact of running, jumping, climbing, and the sheer diversity of movements their bodies performed daily. Their bones were constantly adapting and strengthening in response to the diverse stresses of their environment. Imagine having bones so strong, they could probably withstand a minor car accident. You realize your current bone density is probably more akin to a delicate porcelain doll. The hunter-gatherer lifestyle also fostered incredible resilience. You were exposed to the elements, to hunger, to the constant threat of predators. Your body learned to adapt, to push through discomfort, to recover quickly. There were no protein bars or recovery shakes. Your recovery came from rest, from the nutrient-dense foods you found, and from the sheer adaptive capacity of your ancient human body. The concept of exercise as a separate leisure activity simply didn't exist. Every movement had a purpose. Every physical effort contributed directly to survival. There was no need for a gym membership when the entire world was your training ground. Your body was lean, strong, and incredibly efficient, perfectly adapted to the demands of your environment. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate whether the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, with its constant, varied physical demands, resulted in a lower incidence of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes compared to later agricultural and modern societies. Was their constant movement a panacea for many modern ailments, or did their shorter lifespans simply obscure these conditions? It's a complex question, trying to extrapolate modern health metrics onto ancient populations. You might even hear a joke about a hunter-gatherer complaining, "I wish I could just sit on a couch and watch someone else hunt for a change." Or perhaps, "My Fitbit just told me I hit 50,000 steps today, but I still haven't found dinner." The humor, as always, highlights the stark contrast between their reality and your own. As the sun begins to set, casting long purple shadows across the vast, untamed landscape, you feel the deep, satisfying exhaustion of a day well spent. It's a weariness born of purposeful movement, of direct engagement with the natural world, of a body pushed to its limits and found capable. You realize that the hunter-gatherers, and without knowing it, were the ultimate athletes. Their lives a continuous, demanding, and utterly natural workout. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom crunch of leaves underfoot, the steady rhythm of your breath during a long chase, and the quiet strength of a body perfectly attuned to its ancient environment. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was simply the art of living. You've tracked the tireless movements of hunter-gatherers, a life defined by constant, purposeful physical exertion. Now, let's fast forward a few millennia to a monumental shift in human history, the dawn of agriculture. This wasn't a sudden change, but a gradual transition that fundamentally reshaped human bodies and their relationship with physical activity. While it might seem like settled farming would lead to a more sedentary life, the truth is agricultural life demanded its own constant, rigorous physical exertion, just of a different kind. Imagine waking up not in a temporary camp, but in a more permanent dwelling. Perhaps a mud brick house or a simple wooden hut, surrounded by cultivated fields. The air carries the scent of damp earth, growing crops, and the distant lowing of domesticated animals. Your day no longer begins with the unpredictable chase of prey, but with the steady, rhythmic demands of the land. This isn't about explosive bursts of energy, it's about sustained, repetitive labor that builds a different kind of strength and endurance. Your first task might be tilling the soil. Picture yourself grasping a heavy, wooden plow, perhaps pulled by an ox, or if you're less fortunate, by your own sheer muscle power. You lean into the harness, your back muscles straining, your legs pushing against the earth as the plowshare cuts a furrow. The soil resists, clumping, clinging to the wood. You feel the vibrations travel up your arms, your shoulders burning with each slow, deliberate step. This isn't a quick sprint, it's a marathon of strength, repeated day after day, season after season. A common historical fact is that early agricultural practices, particularly tilling and preparing fields, required immense and sustained physical effort, often involving rudimentary tools and animal or human power. It's like doing endless sets of heavy squats and rows. But with the added challenge of uneven ground and unpredictable weather, then comes the sowing. You walk across the freshly tilled earth, rhythmically scattering seeds by hand. It seems simple, but imagine doing this for acres, bending, twisting, and maintaining a steady pace under the sun. Your core is engaged, your shoulders moving in a constant, repetitive motion. Weeding is next, a truly unique detail about agricultural fitness. This isn't just a quick pull, it's hours, often days, spent on your hands and knees, meticulously removing unwanted plants from around your precious crops. Your back aches, your knees protest, and your fingers become calloused from the constant contact with the soil. It's a low-impact, high-duration workout for your entire posterior chain, a kind of ancient Pilates class, but with dirt and sweat. You might even think, my yoga instructor would be so proud of my hip flexibility. If they could see me now, covered in mud. As the crops mature, the demands shift to harvesting. Imagine swinging a heavy sickle or scythe, cutting stalks of wheat or barley for hours on end. The rhythmic motion builds powerful arms and shoulders, while your core stabilizes your body. Then comes the bundling, the carrying of heavy sheaves, and the threshing, beating the grain to separate it from the chaff. This involves repetitive, powerful movements, often with heavy flails, building explosive power in your arms and shoulders. You're not just working out, you're literally beating your food into submission. Beyond the fields, there's the constant work of building and maintaining your settlement. You're hauling timber for houses, mixing mud and straw for bricks, digging irrigation ditches, and repairing fences. These tasks involve lifting, carrying, digging, and shaping, a continuous cycle of functional strength training. Your body adapts to these varied demands, becoming robust and versatile. There are no specialized machines. Every task is a full-body engagement. You might even joke, my biceps are so big from digging ditches, I can barely fit through the doorway. The unique challenge of early agricultural life was the repetitive strain. While hunter-gatherers engaged in diverse movements, farmers often performed the same motions for hours, day after day. This could lead to specific musculoskeletal issues. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate whether the repetitive nature of agricultural labor led to a higher incidence of specific joint problems and repetitive strain injuries in ancient farming populations compared to the more varied physical demands of hunter-gatherer life. Did the stability of food come at the cost of new physical ailments? The seasonal nature of farming also meant periods of intense, almost frantic, labor during planting and harvest, interspersed with periods of slightly less demanding, but still active, maintenance. Your body had to be resilient enough to handle these peaks of exertion and recover quickly. There were no deload weeks or scheduled rest days. Your body dictated the pace, and necessity drove the effort. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across your fields, you feel the deep, bone-weary exhaustion of a day spent in constant, demanding labor. Your hands are rough, your muscles ache, but there's a profound satisfaction in seeing the fruits of your physical efforts. You realize that for ancient farmers, fitness wasn't an aspiration. It was the unavoidable reality of putting food on the table and building a life. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom weight of a hoe in your hands, the rhythmic pull of a plow, and the deep, enduring strength of a body forged by the land. A subtle reminder of a time when living strong meant living simply, and working the earth was the ultimate workout. You've explored the enduring strength of the ancient farmer, a body shaped by the rhythmic demands of the land. Now, let's journey to a civilization renowned for its monumental achievements and the sheer human power that built them ancient Egypt. Here, fitness wasn't just about survival or sustenance, it was about contributing to a grand, divine vision, whether you were building a pharaoh's tomb or defending the empire's borders. The grandeur of ancient Egypt was quite literally built on physical might, and the lives of its builders and warriors offer a fascinating glimpse into ancient fitness. Imagine yourself standing in the scorching desert sun, not far from the colossal, awe-inspiring silhouette of a pyramid under construction. The air is thick with dust, the rhythmic chants of workers and the groan of heavy stone. You are one of thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, engaged in a monumental feat of engineering that demands every ounce of your physical strength and endurance. This isn't just a job, it's a lifelong commitment to physical labor on an unimaginable scale. Your primary workout here is the movement of colossal stones. A common historical fact is that the construction of ancient Egyptian pyramids and temples involved the quarrying, transporting, and lifting of millions of tons of stone, often without the aid of wheeled vehicles or advanced machinery. Picture yourself straining against a thick rope, your bare feet digging into the sand, as you pull a massive stone block, inch by agonizing inch. Up a ramp. Your entire body is engaged, your legs push, your core stabilizes, and your arms and back muscles scream with the effort. This is not a single lift, it's a sustained, collective effort, repeated hundreds of times a day. It's like an endless, heavy sled pull, but with the added challenge of desert heat and the weight of history on your shoulders. You might even joke. My personal trainer said, no pain, no gain. But I think they forgot to mention no pyramids, no gain. Beyond pulling. There's the shaping of the stones. Imagine wielding a heavy copper chisel and a stone hammer, chipping away at granite or limestone for hours. The repetitive impact travels up your arms, building formidable grip strength and endurance in your shoulders and biceps. You're not just sculpting, you're engaging in a continuous, high-impact upper body workout. Then consider the logistics hauling water from the Nile, preparing food for thousands, maintaining the vast network of ramps and scaffolding. These tasks, while seemingly secondary, also demanded immense physical effort. You're constantly moving, lifting, carrying, and climbing. Your body is a finely tuned machine, hardened by years of relentless labor under the unforgiving Egyptian sun. A truly unique detail about Egyptian physical prowess lies in the training of their elite warriors. While the builders were strong, the soldiers of the pharaoh were honed for battle. Archaeological evidence and tomb paintings show that Egyptian soldiers engaged in rigorous physical training that included wrestling, stick fighting, and even what appears to be a form of acrobatics or calisthenics. Imagine a group of soldiers practicing complex maneuvers, leaping and tumbling, their bodies moving with surprising grace and agility. It's their version of a military obstacle course, but with more sand and less modern safety equipment. You might even think, these guys could probably win a ninja warrior competition even in their linen kilts. The Nile River itself was also a source of physical activity. Fishing, navigating papyrus boats, and swimming were all integral to daily life and contributed to overall fitness. Imagine paddling a small boat against the current, your back and shoulders burning with the effort, or diving into the cool waters of the Nile, your lungs expanding with each stroke. It's a natural and a full-body aquatic workout, far removed from your chlorinated swimming pool. The Egyptian emphasis on physical strength and discipline was not just for practical purposes. It was deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs and their concept of order ma'at. A strong body was seen as a reflection of a strong spirit, capable of serving the pharaoh and maintaining cosmic harmony. Fitness wasn't just about personal well-being, it was a sacred duty. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate the precise methods and intensity of physical training for different social classes within ancient Egypt, and whether the physical demands of labor led to a shorter lifespan or unique health issues for the working class. Did the monumental achievements come at the cost of the laborers' long-term health? Or were their bodies remarkably adapted to such extreme conditions? You might even hear an Egyptian laborer joke. My muscles are so big, I could probably lift a small pyramid by myself. If I had enough beer. Or perhaps I'm so tired from pulling these stones, I could sleep through a plague of locusts. The humor, as always, helps to highlight the sheer physical demands of their lives. As the desert night cools and the stars emerge, impossibly bright, over the silent pyramids, you feel the deep, satisfying ache of a body that has truly worked. You've experienced the relentless, powerful fitness of ancient Egypt, a civilization built on the backs and muscles of its people. You realize that their workouts were simply the grand, demanding tasks of empire building and survival, forging bodies of incredible strength and resilience. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom strain of a pulling rope, the rhythmic swing of a chisel, and the quiet strength of a body that helped to build wonders. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was etched into the very stones of history. You've explored the monumental fitness of ancient Egypt, where the very landscape was shaped by human muscle and will. Now, let's turn our gaze to a civilization that elevated physical prowess to an art form, where the pursuit of a strong, beautiful body was deeply intertwined with philosophy, citizenship, and the very ideals of their society. Ancient Greece. Here, fitness wasn't just about work or warfare. It was about achieving a harmonious balance between mind and body, a concept they called kalokagathia. Imagine yourself in a vibrant Greek city-state, perhaps Athens or Sparta, the air filled with the scent of olive groves and the distant murmur of philosophical debate. You see young men, and sometimes women, moving with a grace and strength that is almost sculptural. This isn't just about casual movement, it's about deliberate, disciplined training, often in specialized spaces. A common historical fact is that the ancient Greeks, particularly in city-states like Sparta and Athens, placed immense cultural value on physical education and athletic competition, with institutions like gymnasia being central to their way of life. Their workouts were a blend of practical training, aesthetic pursuit, and civic duty. You might find yourself in a gymnasium, a public training ground, surrounded by young men exercising. The ground is packed earth, perhaps covered in sand. You see them wrestling, their bodies intertwined in a struggle of strength and technique. You hear the rhythmic thud of javelins hitting targets, the sharp thwack of discus throws, and the steady pounding of feet as runners sprint across the track. Your own body feels a sudden urge to join in, to test your limits against these formidable athletes. It's like stepping into an ancient outdoor Olympic training center, but without the corporate sponsorships. You might even think, my CrossFit box has nothing on this place. They even have philosophers cheering them on. Consider the sheer variety of their athletic endeavors. Running, jumping, wrestling, discus throwing, javelin throwing. These were the core components of the pentathlon, the ultimate test of a Greek athlete. Each discipline demanded a different kind of strength, speed, and coordination. Running built cardiovascular endurance and leg power. Jumping honed explosive leg strength. Wrestling developed full body strength, grip, and tactical thinking. Discus and javelin throwing cultivated rotational power, shoulder strength, and precision. It's a comprehensive, multifaceted workout that leaves no muscle group untouched. A truly unique detail about Greek physical training is the practice of exercising naked, or nearly naked, in the gymnasia. The word gymnasium itself comes from the Greek word gymnos, meaning naked. This wasn't just about comfort. It was about celebrating the human form, about seeing the body as a work of art, and about removing any social distinctions that might be hidden by clothing. Imagine the feeling of the sun and wind on your bare skin as you train, your muscles rippling with effort, unencumbered by fabric. It's a profound connection to your physical self, a raw, unadorned display of human potential. You might even crack a joke. Well, at least I don't have to worry about laundry after this workout. Beyond the formal training, everyday life in Greece also demanded physical activity. Walking was still primary, often up and down the steep hills of their cities. Carrying water, tending small plots of land, and engaging in trade all contributed to a baseline level of fitness. But it was the deliberate pursuit of athletic excellence that truly set the Greeks apart. The Spartans, of course, took physical training to an extreme. From a young age, both boys and girls underwent rigorous physical conditioning, designed to forge them into formidable warriors and strong mothers. Their training was less about aesthetic beauty and more about brutal efficiency, focusing on endurance, strength, and combat readiness. Imagine a Spartan child, barely old enough to walk, already learning the fundamentals of wrestling and running. It's a stark contrast to the more artistic pursuits of Athens, but equally effective in building resilient bodies. Your day begins at dawn, or even before, as you pack your meager provisions. Your pack, though lighter than a Roman legionary's sarcina, still contains essentials: food, water, a spare tunic, perhaps some tools. You hoist it onto your back, feeling the familiar weight settle on your shoulders. Then you begin to walk, and walk, and walk. A common historical fact is that long-distance travel in ancient times was predominantly undertaken on foot, requiring individuals to cover significant daily distances over varied and often challenging terrain. Your daily steps would easily surpass tens of thousands, far exceeding the recommendations of any modern health app. As the Roman sun sets, casting long crimson shadows across the marching legions, you feel the deep, satisfying ache of a body that has been pushed to its absolute limits, not for personal glory, but for the glory of an empire. You've experienced the unyielding, disciplined fitness of ancient Rome, a world where physical might was a cornerstone of power, and every soldier was a walking, marching, building, fighting testament to human endurance. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom weight of a Roman shield, the rhythmic pounding of marching boots, and the quiet strength of a body that helped to forge an empire. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was the very foundation of conquest. Consider the terrain. You're not just walking on flat ground. You might be ascending steep mountain passes, your calves burning with every step, your breath coming in ragged gasps. You might be descending treacherous rocky slopes, your knees absorbing the impact, your core engaged to prevent a stumble. You might be slogging through muddy fields after a rainstorm, your boots heavy with clinging earth, or navigating dense, overgrown paths where every step requires careful placement. It's like an endless, multi-terrain endurance hike, but with the added challenge of carrying your life on your back. You might even joke to yourself. My personal trainer told me to take the stairs, but they never mentioned 1,000 miles of them. Consider the construction of military camps. Every night, after a long march, legionaries were expected to build a fortified camp from scratch. This involved digging deep trenches with shovels, driving in stakes, and constructing a palisade. You're swinging a pickaxe, shoveling earth, hauling timber, a full-body functional workout that demands strength, coordination, and teamwork. There are no power tools, just human muscle and the collective will of the Legion. It's the ultimate team CrossFit challenge, but with less cheering and more shouting in Latin. Beyond walking, there's the constant need for vigilance and resourcefulness. You're not just moving, you're scanning the horizon for landmarks, for potential dangers, for sources of water or shelter. You're building temporary shelters at night, gathering firewood, and preparing simple meals over an open fire. These tasks, while seemingly minor, add to the cumulative physical demands of the journey. Your body is constantly adapting to new environments, new challenges, new forms of exertion. You've marched with the Roman legions, feeling the relentless discipline that forged an empire. Now, let's consider the ultimate test of ancient fitness warfare. This wasn't just a sport or a job, it was a brutal, chaotic, and often prolonged physical ordeal that pushed the human body to its absolute limits. In a world before firearms, ancient combat was an intensely physical dance of strength, speed, endurance, and raw, visceral power. A truly unique detail about ancient travel fitness is the incredible resilience built from carrying water. In many arid regions, finding and transporting water was a daily, life-sustaining task. Imagine walking for hours under a scorching sun, your throat parched, and then having to carry heavy water skins or amphorae back to your camp or caravan. This repetitive lifting and carrying, often over long distances, built formidable upper body and core strength, far beyond what most modern individuals possess. It's like doing heavy farmer's carries for miles, but with the added motivation of not dying of thirst. You might even think, I could probably win a strongman competition just from fetching water on this trip. You've witnessed the Greek ideal of physical perfection, where the body was sculpted through disciplined training and celebrated as a work of art. Now, let's shift our focus to another colossal empire. One built not just on philosophy and art, but on an iron will and an unparalleled military machine, ancient Rome. Here, fitness was less about individual glory in the gymnasium and more about collective strength, unwavering discipline, and the sheer physical rigor required to conquer and maintain an empire. The Roman might, forged through relentless military discipline, offers a starkly different, yet equally compelling, perspective on ancient fitness. The dangers of travel also contributed to a heightened state of physical readiness. Encounters with wild animals, bandits, or rival tribes meant that you always had to be prepared to defend yourself, to run, or to fight. Your body was constantly primed for action, building explosive power and agility. There was no safe zone on the ancient road. Every shadow could hide a threat. Imagine yourself on a battlefield. Not a training ground, but a real, muddy, blood-soaked field where life and death hang on every swing of a sword, every thrust of a spear. The air is filled with the shouts of men, the clang of metal on metal, and the sickening thud of blows landing. You're wearing heavy armor, perhaps a bronze cuirass or leather scales, and carrying a shield and weapons. This isn't just about lifting weights. It's about moving with agility and force while under immense physical and psychological stress. Your workout is a fight for survival. The concept of leisure travel, as you know it, was virtually non-existent. Every journey had a purpose, often economic or social, and the physical demands were simply an accepted part of the process. Your body was the vehicle, and you had to maintain it meticulously to ensure a successful passage. There were no roadside assistance services. If your body broke down, your journey ended. A truly unique detail about Roman military fitness is the practice of carrying a sarcana, or marching pack, which could weigh upwards of 60, 80 pounds, 27 to 36 kiloart. This wasn't just a backpack, it was a carefully constructed load that included personal gear, rations, tools for camp construction, and even parts of siege equipment. Imagine carrying that weight for miles, day after day, up and down hills, across rivers. This constant, heavy load built incredible lower body strength, core stability, and endurance. It's like doing heavy-weighted squats and lunges for hours on end, but with the added motivation of not being left behind by your legion. You might even crack a joke. My sarsana is heavier than my legionnaire's pride. Almost. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate the extent to which the constant physical demands of ancient travel, particularly for merchants and pilgrims, led to specific patterns of musculoskeletal adaptation or long-term wear and tear compared to more settled populations. Did the nomadic or semi-nomadic lifestyle offer unique physical benefits, or did it simply trade one set of physical challenges for another? Your first challenge is the charge. Picture yourself running, not a measured sprint, but a full-out dash across uneven ground, often uphill towards an enemy line. Your lungs burn, your heart pounds, and the adrenaline surges through your veins. This explosive burst of speed, sustained while carrying heavy equipment, demands incredible cardiovascular fitness and leg power. It's like an all-out sprint with a weighted vest, but the finish line is a wall of armed opponents. You might even joke to yourself, my cardio is so good I can outrun my fear. Mostly, you might even hear an ancient traveler joke, my feet have seen more of the world than most kings. Or perhaps, I'm so tired from walking, I could probably sleep through a chariot race. The humor, as always, helps to highlight the sheer physical demands of their lives. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate the extent to which the idealized Greek body, as depicted in their art and philosophy, accurately reflected the physical reality of the average citizen, and whether the pursuit of athletic perfection led to a higher incidence of injuries or overtraining. Was the ideal achievable for everyone, or only for a select few, as the sun dips below the distant horizon, painting the vast, silent landscape in hues of deep blue and purple? You feel the profound, satisfying exhaustion of a day spent in constant motion. You've experienced the relentless, all-encompassing fitness of ancient travel, a world where every journey was an odyssey of physical endurance, forging bodies of incredible stamina, strength, and resilience. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom ache in your feet, the steady rhythm of your breathing during a long climb, and the quiet strength of a body that carried you across ancient lands. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was simply the path you walked. Then comes the melee. This is where ancient combat truly becomes a full-body workout. You're swinging a sword, thrusting a spear, parrying blows with your shield. Your arms and shoulders are in constant motion, delivering powerful strikes and absorbing heavy impacts. Your core is engaged, twisting and turning, maintaining balance as you pivot and dodge. Your legs are constantly moving, pushing off the ground, lunging forward, retreating. It's like an endless, high-intensity interval training session, but every rep could be your last. A common historical fact is that ancient hand-to-hand combat required continuous, explosive bursts of energy, demanding peak anaerobic fitness, upper body strength, and core stability from soldiers. There's no time to catch your breath. You are constantly fighting for your life. You've traversed ancient landscapes, feeling the profound physical demands of ancient travel. Now let's shift our perspective to a group whose fitness was often built without conscious effort, yet was foundational to their development and future capabilities, children. In the ancient world, childhood wasn't a time for structured sports leagues or designated playdates. It was a period of constant, natural movement, where every game and every chore contributed to building foundational strength, agility, and resilience. The Roman emphasis on physical discipline extended beyond the individual soldier. The entire legion moved as one, a cohesive unit, capable of complex maneuvers and sustained effort. This required not just individual strength, but synchronized movement, fostered through endless drills and formations. Their fitness was a collective asset, a testament to their organizational genius. Imagine a group of ancient children at play, perhaps in a dusty village square, by a riverbank, or in a sun-dappled forest clearing. There are no plastic toys, no screens, no designated playgrounds with soft rubber mats. Their gym is the natural world around them, and their workouts are the timeless games that have echoed through generations. This isn't just about fun, it's about the organic development of bodies that will one day be needed for farming, hunting, building, or fighting. A truly unique detail about ancient warfare fitness is the sheer endurance required for prolonged battles. Many ancient battles lasted for hours, sometimes even days, with periods of intense fighting interspersed with brief lulls. Soldiers couldn't simply tap out or take a water break. They had to maintain their physical output, often in extreme heat or cold, without adequate hydration or nutrition. Imagine fighting for 3 hours straight, your muscles burning, your mouth dry, your vision blurring, but knowing that giving up means certain death. This level of sustained physical and mental toughness is almost incomprehensible in modern terms. You might even think, my gym's endurance challenge is cute, but it doesn't involve dodging axes. You see them running not in straight lines on a track, but chasing each other through uneven fields, dodging obstacles, and scrambling over rocks and fallen logs. Their small legs pump, their lungs burn, and their coordination develops with every stumble and recovery. It's an endless game of tag. But with the added challenge of natural terrain, this builds incredible cardiovascular endurance and agility from a very young age. It's like a perpetual, spontaneous cross-country race. But without the medals or the finish line, you might even chuckle to yourself thinking, my kids' screen time would be a lot more active if they had to chase a wild boar for fun. Imagine yourself not in a sun-drenched athletic field, but on a dusty, endless road, marching in lockstep with thousands of other legionaries. The sun beats down, your heavy pack weighs on your shoulders, and the clanking of armor is the only music. This isn't a leisurely hike, it's a forced march, often covering vast distances day after day, through all kinds of terrain and weather. Your legs burn, your lungs ache, but you push on, driven by the unyielding discipline of the Roman military. A common historical fact is that Roman legionaries were renowned for their incredible marching abilities, often covering 20-25 miles a day while carrying heavy equipment, a fundamental aspect of their military dominance. Their workouts were the very campaigns that built their empire. Consider the games they play. You might see them wrestling, tumbling in the dirt, learning to grapple and push against each other. This builds foundational strength, body awareness, and resilience to impact. You see them climbing trees, their small hands gripping rough bark, their bodies pulling themselves upwards, developing impressive upper body strength and balance. They're leaping over ditches, balancing on narrow walls, and throwing stones with surprising accuracy. These aren't just idle pastimes. They are crucial developmental activities that hone motor skills and physical capabilities. A common historical fact is that ancient children engaged in extensive free play that involved constant running, climbing, jumping, and wrestling, naturally developing robust physical capabilities essential for adult life. Their playtime was their physical education. You've had your first taste of what it means to be fit in the ancient world, where every waking moment was a form of physical training. Now, let's zoom in on perhaps the most iconic example of this natural athleticism, the life of a hunter-gatherer. For tens of thousands of years, long before agriculture, cities, or even the concept of a permanent home, humanity thrived by constantly moving, observing, and reacting to their environment. Your body, in this era, was your most essential tool, and survival itself was the ultimate fitness regimen. A truly unique detail about ancient childhood fitness is the integration of chores into play. For many children, especially in agricultural societies, play wasn't entirely separate from work. They might help their parents by carrying small buckets of water, gathering firewood, or herding animals. These tasks, while light, added to their daily physical activity, building strength and responsibility simultaneously. Imagine a child playing at being a shepherd, running after a stray lamb, or helping to carry a basket of vegetables from the garden. It's a seamless blend of duty and development, where every contribution, no matter how small, strengthens their growing bodies. You might even think, my parents always told me to go outside and play, but they never meant go outside and haul water for an hour. Beyond direct combat, there were the sieges. Imagine digging tunnels under enemy walls, scaling ladders, or pushing heavy siege engines. These were grueling, specialized forms of physical labor that demanded immense strength and resilience. You're not just a soldier, you're a combat engineer, a human battering ram, a living ladder. Every muscle in your body is recruited for these tasks, often under a hail of arrows and stones. The absence of modern conveniences meant that even basic movements were more physically demanding. Walking to school, if you had one, was often a significant trek. Playing meant being outdoors, exposed to the elements, and relying on your own body for entertainment. This constant, varied physical input ensured that ancient children developed strong bones, flexible joints, and well-developed muscles, preparing them for the rigors of adult life. Beyond the military, even civilian life in Rome demanded a high level of physical activity. The vastness of the city meant constant walking, hauling goods, constructing buildings, and maintaining infrastructure all contributed to a robust, active population. The Roman baths, while a place of relaxation, also involved physical activity like swimming and various forms of massage and stretching. Remember the Roman baths we talked about? They were a place to recover, but also to maintain that baseline fitness. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate whether the lack of structured physical activity in ancient childhood, compared to modern organized sports, led to a more natural and holistic development of athleticism, or if it resulted in missed opportunities for specialized skill development. Was their unstructured fitness truly superior for overall health, or did it limit their potential in specific areas? The recovery from such physical exertion, let alone injuries, was rudimentary at best. There were no sports therapists, no advanced medical facilities on the battlefield. Wounds were often treated with basic bandages, herbs, or cauterization. Infection was a constant threat, and many who survived the initial battle would succumb to disease in the aftermath. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate the extent to which the physical demands of ancient warfare, coupled with poor sanitation and medical care, contributed to the overall mortality rates of soldiers beyond direct combat injuries. Was survival on the battlefield just the first hurdle, with disease being the ultimate killer? You might even hear an ancient parent joke. My child is so fast that they could probably outrun a tax collector. Or perhaps, my child is so strong, they can carry more firewood than I can. Almost. The humor, as always, helps to highlight the realities of their lives. As the sun dips below the Aegean horizon, painting the marble temples in hues of orange and pink, You feel the exhilarating exhaustion of a body that has been pushed, not just by necessity, but by a profound desire for excellence. You've experienced the unique blend of athleticism and artistry that defined ancient Greek fitness, a world where the human body was celebrated, honed, and pushed to its limits in pursuit of both practical skill and aesthetic perfection. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom strain of a wrestling match, the graceful arc of a javelin, and the quiet strength of a body that embodied the very ideals of a civilization. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was a pathway to both personal mastery and civic virtue. As the sun begins to set, casting long, playful shadows across the ancient village, you hear the fading sounds of children's laughter and the distant shouts of their games. You feel a sense of warmth, realizing that even in the most challenging of times, the joy of movement and the inherent human need for play were powerful forces in shaping robust, resilient bodies. You've witnessed how ancient childhood, far from being sedentary, was a continuous, natural workout, where every leap, every climb, and every chase built the foundational strength and agility needed for a life lived physically. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom thrill of a childhood chase, the satisfying grip of a tree branch, and the quiet strength of a body that grew strong through the simple, joyful act of play. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was simply the boundless energy of youth. You've journeyed through the ancient world, witnessing how every aspect of life, from hunting and farming to building and playing, contributed to a profound and inherent level of fitness. You've seen the hunter-gatherer's relentless pursuit of sustenance, the farmer's rhythmic toil, the builder's monumental strength, the warrior's disciplined might, the traveler's endless endurance, and the child's boundless, natural movement. Now, as our journey through this physically demanding past draws to a close, let's reflect on the overarching truth for ancient people. The body was not just a vessel, it was an essential instrument, and fitness wasn't a choice, but the very way of life. You might even hear an ancient warrior joke. My arms are so tired from swinging this sword, I think I'll just try to headbutt the next guy. Or perhaps, I'm so exhausted, I could probably sleep standing up if I wasn't still holding this shield. The humor, as always, helps to highlight the grim realities of their lives. Imagine standing at the crossroads of time, looking back at the millennia of human existence before modern conveniences. The air is clear, the sounds are natural, and the world pulses with the quiet hum of constant human activity. You see bodies that were lean, strong, and incredibly adaptable, not because they followed a specific fitness regimen, but because their very survival depended on their physical capabilities. Their gym was the world itself, and their workouts were simply the tasks of living. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate whether the extreme physical demands of Roman military service led to a higher incidence of long-term joint problems and musculoskeletal degeneration among veterans compared to the general civilian population. Did their unparalleled military fitness come at a significant cost to their bodies in later life? A common historical fact is that ancient populations, due to their consistently active lifestyles, generally exhibited lower rates of many chronic lifestyle-related diseases common in modern sedentary societies, such as type 2 diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. While they faced other health challenges, the sheer amount of daily physical activity provided a robust defense against ailments tied to inactivity. It's almost as if their bodies were perfectly designed for the lives they led, a testament to evolutionary adaptation. You might even chuckle, thinking, my doctor would probably prescribe ancient living if they could, as the sounds of battle fade into the distance, replaced by the mournful cries of the wounded and the quiet rustle of the wind. You feel the profound, bone-deep exhaustion of a body that has faced death and lived. You've experienced the brutal, all-encompassing fitness of ancient warfare, a world where physical prowess was not just admired, but was the very currency of survival. You realize that for ancient warriors, fitness was not a choice, but a daily, terrifying necessity, forging bodies of unparalleled strength, speed, and resilience in the crucible of combat. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom weight of a sword in your hand, the rhythmic clang of a shield, and the quiet strength of a body that survived the ultimate test. A subtle reminder of a time when fitness was truly a matter of life and death. Consider the profound connection ancient people had with their bodies. They understood their physical limits and capabilities through direct experience, not through scientific charts or fitness trackers. They felt the burn of muscles, the ache of joints, the rhythm of their breath, and they knew, intimately, what their bodies could endure. This intuitive understanding of their physical instrument was a unique detail. They didn't need to read a health blog to know they were fit. Their ability to hunt, build, travel, and simply survive was proof enough. Imagine having such an innate sense of your body's strength that you didn't need a mirror or a scale to tell you were capable. You realize how much modern life has disconnected you from that primal awareness. Your daily routine as a Roman soldier was a relentless cycle of physical demands. Beyond marching, there was the constant training. Imagine yourself wielding a heavy wooden sword against a sturdy post, practicing your thrusts and cuts for hours. Your arms and shoulders develop incredible power and endurance. You're not just swinging, you're building the muscle memory and stamina required for sustained combat. Then there's the shield work, holding a heavy scutum for long periods, building formidable core and arm strength. It's like an endless high-intensity circuit training, but with real weapons and the threat of real battle. You might even joke. My drill sergeant says, "No pain, no empire." And he's not wrong. The absence of a separate fitness industry in the ancient world speaks volumes. There were no gyms, no personal trainers, no diet fads. Fitness was seamlessly integrated into every aspect of existence. It was in the act of fetching water, grinding grain, building a home, or defending a village. It was a holistic, unavoidable part of their being. This is a point of ongoing academic debate. Historians still debate whether the inherent, integrated physical activity of ancient life fostered a more resilient and functionally capable human body overall, or if the lack of targeted, specialized training limited peak athletic performance in specific areas compared to modern athletes. Was their general robustness superior? Or did modern specialization allow for greater individual feats? You face the ultimate test of ancient fitness on the battlefield, where survival hinged on every ounce of strength and endurance. Now, let's leave the structured training grounds and the chaos of combat behind, and consider a more pervasive, yet often underestimated aspect of ancient fitness travel. In a world without modern transportation, every journey, whether for trade, pilgrimage, or simply visiting a neighboring village, was an epic physical undertaking that demanded immense stamina and resilience. You might even hear an ancient person, if they could understand the concept, joke. You mean people pay to lift heavy things and run around? We just call that Tuesday. Or perhaps my personal best is surviving another winter? What's yours? The humor, as always, helps to highlight the stark contrast between their reality and your own. You might even hear a Roman soldier joke. My feet hurt so much, I think they're trying to desert the legion. Or perhaps, I'm so fit, I could probably march to the ends of the earth, if someone else carried my sarcana. The humor, as always, highlights the sheer physical demands of their lives. As the final stars begin to appear in the velvet curtain of the night sky, and the last whispers of the ancient world fade into the gentle hum of your fan, you feel a profound sense of peace. You've journeyed through a time when fitness was not a pursuit, but a given. When the human body was a versatile, resilient instrument, constantly honed by the demands of life itself. You've seen that without modern workouts. Ancient people were taught in their own way. The ultimate athletes? Their lives a continuous, natural, and utterly essential training ground. And as you drift off to sleep, you can almost feel the phantom strength in your limbs, the steady rhythm of your breath, and the quiet wisdom of a body that knew its purpose. A subtle reminder that the deepest form of fitness is simply living fully, completely, and physically under the vast, silent tapestry of time. Imagine yourself embarking on a journey in the ancient world. There's no paved highway, no comfortable carriage, no high-speed train. Your primary mode of transport is your own 2 feet, or perhaps a beast of burden like a donkey or camel, which you still have to lead and care for. The road ahead is often little more than a dirt track, winding over mountains, through dense forests, or across vast open plains. Your workout is the journey itself, a relentless test of your body's ability to keep moving. You might even hear a Greek philosopher joke. A healthy mind and a healthy body, but preferably one that can also throw a discus really far. Or perhaps, my muscles are so defined, they're practically philosophical arguments in themselves. The humor, as always, reflects the cultural significance of their physical ideals.